What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Mike. So today is part two of the three-part series, and today I'm talking about career. Pretty much, where my career started, how I got here, and where I want to go. Some different aspects that are on my mind right now. Again, I'm a little bit all over the place, like different things I thought about doing, the whole thing. So my overall career journey started off when I was about 14, 15 years old. Because again, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon, but I was like, I want to make some money right now. So at that age, I was applying for anything that I can find that would hire someone that was young. So we have Publix down here. I was applying for Publix, Walmart, Target, Payless, any and everything that I can find. McDonald's, I applied for Wendy's. My brother actually worked at Wendy's for a while. So I applied at Wendy's, Burger King. I applied pretty much everywhere. No one would get back to your boy. I was like, come on. Nobody? Nobody got back to your boy. So I was like, man, this kind of stinks. But things happen. It's all good. I'll figure it out somehow. So I was like, I just kept applying for places. 14, didn't get hired anywhere. 15, couldn't get hired anywhere. 16, couldn't get hired anywhere. 17, couldn't get hired anywhere. I was like, this is insane, because most of my friends, they had a little something in high school, whether it's like, hey, working at McDonald's or wherever, they had something. I'm just like, man, I don't have a job. I felt a little down on myself. I'm like, how am I gonna earn money? I don't have a job. But I was like, you know what? Let me see what happens. So if you recount from part one, when I was in high school, I took a CNA class. So like, okay, cool. So let me see about this. So when I passed my CNA licensure, went back to class. I was so happy and everything like that, and I applied at the hospital that's nearby, as a CNA, certified nursing assistant. My mom actually worked at the hospital, so a lot of people that were there have known me since I was like 12 years old. Probably like 10. I think my mom started working there when I was like 10 years old, so around 10 to 12. But at that time, they've known me for a while. You know what I mean? So I was like, let me go ahead and apply there. I applied, and I got accepted. I was like, that's cool. So I couldn't get a job at Publix or Wendy's or Target or Walmart. I couldn't get a job anywhere. But I got a job at a hospital. I was like, that's pretty cool. And making more than I would, at a different job. So I'm like, okay, maybe this is why I didn't get hired anyplace else, because it wasn't meant for me to get hired in any other place else. I was meant to get hired here. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I passed my CNA board. I think it was like in March or something like that. March, April. Turned 18. Graduated the day after my 18th birthday. Like 2 weeks after that, I was working in a hospital. So it was like bam, bam, bam. It was like right after the other. It was like, this is pretty cool. So I was working in a hospital, making a little money. Again, I still wanted to be a neurosurgeon at this point. So I was still, going to school, make my CNA money out. No, I treated being a CNA almost as on the job training. Pretty much anyone and everyone that I ran across, I was asking questions to. Like, what do you like about your job? What do you not like about your job? Is should I go to med school? Should I not go to med school? And again, I still want to be a neurosurgeon. I was still stuck in my head. I was just asking questions just to kind of like gather as much information as I can. Because the more information you have, the more knowledge that you have, the more of an informed decision you can have. That's my thought process. So like, okay, I just want to see what I can do. Gain some knowledge type thing. I'm like, all right, cool, cool, cool. So still want to be a neurosurgeon. Again, as you remember from part one, still struggling in school. The whole time I'm like, I want to be a neurosurgeon. I'm going to be a neurosurgeon. Struggling in school, struggling. Just kept working as a CNA. Kept working as a CNA, looking for different things. Again, while I was working as a CNA, finished my associate's degree, finished my bachelor's degree. While I was almost done my bachelor's degree, That's when my old boss Corey, he was a rehab manager. He was like, "Hey, our rehab tech is leaving. Do you want his job?" I was like, "Sure. I'm up for a different challenge. I don't know what rehab tech does, but I'll be up for, to try something different. Sure." Okay, cool. So it pretty much like offered me the job there. And then when I got the job, it was a $6 an hour raise. I was just like, bro, this is insane. I'm like, I am making money now. No, from $10 to $16. That was a big jump for your boy. Unfortunately, I was what's called PRN status. So if you're not familiar with healthcare, pretty much you'll have like three different statuses. You'll have full time and part time, whichever knows what full time is. Part time is under that. PRN status is under that. Different hospitals and different facilities have different requirements for the PRN status. At the hospital that I was at, so every hospital that I've worked at as a PRN, you get paid a little bit more. However, you don't get any benefits, and if you're overstaffed, you're the first one to go home. So you don't really, so your hours aren't necessarily guaranteed. And if they need more people, if they need more people and they have a full time person or a part time person that can pick up hours, they'll pick up that person before they pick up the PRN person. Again, I understand that you got if you're paying them all this money for the benefits and everything like that, you want to use them. And then I was kind of like at last, but I'm like, okay, it's all good. I can still make some money, so I was happy about that. Working as a rehab tech. While I was working as a rehab tech, I was asking everybody questions. I kept asking questions. I was like, what do you like about physical therapy? What do you not like about physical therapy? Is this right? Is it like what are your thoughts about occupational therapy and speech therapy and respiratory therapy? I was just asking questions. While again, started working as a rehab tech. During this time, I also I passed my ACSM, my American Academy of the ACSM. I forgot what the initials were, but my personal training certification. I passed my personal training certification. I was like, I'm going to be a personal trainer because again, I wanted to help people because again, I enjoyed sports. That'd be part 3. But I really enjoyed sports and being physical and active. That was my thing. Oh, American College of Sports Medicine. I don't know why I blanked out on that. That was bad. My fault, y'all. But I was like, I kept applying to the gym. So there's a gym that was connected to the hospital that you had to have a bachelor's for. I applied there, didn't get it. I was like, oh, okay. I applied at like 5 or 6 other gyms that are local, and then the thing that sucks is I was doing pretty okay in the interviews, but the thing that sucks is that they were all commission based jobs, and you had to bring your own clientele in. I was like, this is weird. I'm like, I'm not a car salesman. I'm a personal trainer. I want to train people. I want people to get strong and healthy and get as fit as they possibly can. I'm not here to sell cars. I'm not here to sell fitness programs. And you want me to find the clientele, bring them in, and then you're getting paid off of my hard work? No. So pretty much you're using the gym just to use a gym. I was like, no, I'm like that. So after I got a couple of those, I was like, you know what? Maybe this isn't a thing for me. So what I did instead is while I was working as a CNA, I was looking at so many different side gigs to get pay a little extra money. I started training people on the side. To be honest, I actually undercharged. To be honest, I severely undercharged. I was charging $40 a session, and if you booked like 3 or more sessions, it would be like $100 for a group of 3. Highly undercharged, but I had no clue. I was just like, hey, extra money. So I trained like 5 people total, because for some reason no one wanted to work out that time. So like, okay, it's all good. So I did that, and while I was doing that, I was looking for anything that I can. So I found, was Beachbody first? I think Beachbody was first. So I became a Beachbody coach. I was like, I'll try Shakeology, and if no one wants it, then I'll at least try it out for myself, and I can get the benefits of that. So I was a Beachbody coach for a while. I did Beachbody. I was trying the different shakes and stuff like that, the supplements. I did the workout programs. I did P90X2. I did Insanity. I did a couple of other Beachbody programs, and actually, to me, they were fun. But I was like, okay, I gotta figure out how to promote this, how to sell it. And the thing is, like, I'm not a good salesman. That's one thing I realized. I'm not a good salesman. I did everything that they told me to do. They're like, oh yeah, you gotta make lists and talk to your closest friends and this and this and this. I was doing all that stuff, and I was like, oh, whatever. People, people ain't pay me no mind at all. I was like, man, this sucks. So I was like, okay, but I was so enjoying the shakes. But the shakes are expensive. If this was in 2013, so making $16 an hour. The Beachbody shakes for a 30-day supply were like 100 plus. Expensive. Expensive. It was a 30-day supply for over $100. I'm like, this is insane. But obviously, if you're a coach and you get people coming in, if you have if you guys know about like it's not necessarily MLM as you think it is, but it is a multi-level marketing. But it's not a scam Ponzi scheme MLM. It's more typical business multi-level. Like if you have people under you, you sell your products type thing. They're still getting something out of it compared to MLM. It's like, hey, you just get people under you and they just pay you. They know you actually sell products and things like that. So if you have, I forget what level you have to be that you actually can get your products for free. But there was a level you actually got your products for free. I never got there. I didn't get anybody under me, which kind of sucks. But okay, whatever. So I did that. There's a skincare company called Nurium that I tried. And again, I'm a 23-year-old dude. I don't know nothing about skincare. I'm like, I got 3-in-1 shampoo. That's what I got. I got 3-in-1 shampoo. I see my hair is still looking a mess because actually need to get a haircut. My face is looking a hot mess. I got to clean this stuff up a little bit. But I know more about skincare now than I did back then. I'm a 23-year-old dude. I'm like, I wash my face. I put lotion on. That's all I know. So like, oh yeah, try this. This is an AM and a PM, and this. I was like, okay, I don't know what that means, but sure. I was like, in healthcare, it's highly female dominant. Healthcare in general is female dominant. So I was like, okay, perfect. I'm a CNA. Like, there's a bunch of ladies I work with. I'll go ahead and try to do this. So I was trying to sell my environment, and I got a couple people who were close. And then this one lady, I remember I was almost about to make a sale. And this one lady was like, oh yeah, I remember I tried this stuff. It didn't work and this and this. I was just like, lady, you ruined my flow. So that she ruined my sale. Like one of my first sales I almost had, she ruined. I was like, this is trash. Whatever. So I kept trying. I kept trying to sell it. Did not work at all. Again, I'm not the best salesman. I was trying. Your boy was trying. It ain't go well at all. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I tried that for a good hot minute. Didn't make any sales at all. Doing everything they told me to do. Didn't make any sales at all. Then I found out about this other company called Zija, which was it was a big plan. It was like supposed to be like an anti-aging. It was like Moringa something. I forgot the name of the plan. It was like the big thing. It's like Moringa Olifera or something like that. It was a big thing. Like all their products had that in it. It was a big thing. I was like, oh my gosh, it has this. So I was like, okay, let me try it out. And the crazy thing is that the people that I got under with Beachbody, again, I was with the same group of people, to be honest. So people that there was it was me, the person under me, then the person above them. So it was me, the person above me, and people that were above that person. People that were above the person that I was under, the person right above them, they're making like an extra $5,000 a month. I'm like, okay, cool. The people above them, I still have them on Facebook. If I'm not mistaken, they're making like $10,000 to $25,000 a month. Like how when you hear people like, oh yeah, like this company gives you a car, this and this and this. They were at that level. They're the people getting the car and all that stuff. I was like, this is insane. And then they moved over to Nurium Like as aside, they're still doing Beachbody if I'm not mistaken, but they moved over to Nerium. Then they were killing it because they were just good. Then something happened with Nerium, and then that's whenever no, it was like a year or two went by, and then that's whenever I was told about Zija. Again, the same people, but I think they left Beachbody and went over to Zija because again, nutrition company, conflict of interest, so on and so forth. Still working as a rehab tech at this time while I was in school trying to personal training on the side, the whole thing. I was like, man, I'm gonna just see what I can do. Zija, the stuff tasted better. It was more fruity compared to the basic protein shake flavors you get, the chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. Whenever I was leaving Beachbody, they just made a vegan protein powder. And they had like a strawberry banana flavor or something like that. I'm not a big banana fan, so I'm good on that. But again, they had the typical protein powder flavors, and this had like the more of the fruity juice type flavor. So okay, cool. They didn't taste too bad, but no, they did what they had to do. Tried that for a while. Didn't do well for your boy. Like taste wise, yeah, but I couldn't justify the price for what I was getting. I was like, no, I personally couldn't justify the price. Like, oh, it's this and this and this. I was like, I'm doing literally everything y'all tell me to do. I can't justify the price at all. So I stopped. I quit that. Still working as a rehab tech. And then around this time, this is when I went to St. Augustine, and then came back. Went to Seminole State for my PTA degree. Finished up at Seminole State. And then one thing that I told myself, because at this point, again, I had like $60,000+ in debt from my car and from my student loans. I had like over $60,000 in debt. So I was like, okay, I gotta figure out how to pay this stuff off. And this is when I first heard about like Dave Ramsey and the baby steps and all that stuff. Some people love him, some people don't. I say, listen and see what makes sense for you, and be as intense as you want to be, and know what your why is. Because if you understand your why, then you understand why he tells you to do certain things. But again, not everyone wants to do those things, and I completely get it. There's so many different ways to pay debt. Figure out what your personal, what calls you, what program of debt payoff calls you. Some people like the debt avalanche. Some people like debt snowball. If you have any questions, drop a comment in there. I'll try to answer the best that I can. But again, the 7 baby steps kind of made sense to me. So I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and try that. So I was like, I remember I was taking a walk, and I was like, I gotta pay off my debt as soon as I possibly can. I gotta get 2 jobs. This was right when I was about to graduate. So I was graduating, and I was like, okay, I gotta get 2 jobs. I gotta get 2 jobs. Now I wanted to work at the hospital I was at, but they're making insurance changes with the nursing homes, and then we had a skilled nursing skilled nursing facility that was attached to the hospital. So I was like, okay, we not sure what's gonna happen with that. Talking to my boss Corey, he's like, hey, you know what's going on insurance wise. I'm not sure what's happening with the employees at the hospital, the employees in outpatient, or the employees at the SNF. We call it a SNF, skilled nursing facility, SNF, SNF. I'm not sure what's going on with the employees at the SNF, but we have to make sure we take care of them before we hire anybody else on. I'm like, I appreciate it. I respect it. It makes 100% sense to me. He's like, it's best that you start applying other places just to be safe. I'm like, hey, I completely understand it. I respect the honesty. The vulnerability. I appreciate it, because again, I don't want to be just sitting there waiting, twiddling my thumbs, making $16 an hour when I can be making more. So I started applying at some outpatient places. I didn't want to be an outpatient therapist. And then I applied at this one hospital. And I was like, okay, cool. I applied at this one hospital. And then I got the job. I was like, nice, I got the job. And I remember I was making $21 an hour. I was like, okay, this is a jump from $16 an hour to $21 an hour. This is a jump. Okay. Oh, it was $20 or $21 an hour. Something around there. I'm like, okay, your boy moving on up in the world. This is my part-time job. Started working there. I had no clue I was supposed to be paid, but I know I was making I know I was making more than I was as a rehab tech. Okay, cool. Meanwhile, not too long after I started working there, my CI from while I was in PTA school, I shadowed at a different hospital, and she texted me and she texted one of my classmates at the same time, and she said, "Hey, I'm leaving. I want one or both of you guys to take my place to take my job. Who wants it?" And I was like, "Okay, I'll take it. I'll take a free job." Like, she said, "Okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and email our director, and I'm gonna CC you in the message." All right, cool. Email the director, CC'd me. Like, okay, cool. So found out I got an interview. Like, cool. Interviewed, and again, everyone knew me already because I how long was our clinicals? 8 weeks. It was, I think it was like 8 or 10 weeks. So everyone already knew me. So like, oh yeah, it's Michael. It was like more formalities or anything. I got the job. I was making $23 an hour. I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, okay, yeah, $23 an hour. I'm like, I like this. Full time, okay. And I stopped and I thought. I was like, wait a second. $23 an hour at my full time job. $20 an hour at my part time job. This is weird. While this was all happening, I was still employed as a rehab tech. So I had 3 jobs at the same time, and I was just trying to balance everything. And I was like, wait a second, mind you, I was PRN at the first hospital. I was PRN as a rehab tech and PRN at the $20 an hour job. PRN, you're supposed to be making more than you do full time. Because again, you don't get any benefits. You're the first person to get called off. All those things. I'm like, wait a second, this is weird. So I was talking to different people, and I was talking to an OT, and she was telling me like, oh yeah, my husband applied to the hospital that you like. Congratulations, my husband applied to the hospital that you applied to, but he didn't get it. So I just want to congratulate you. She was like, okay, cool. I was like, yeah, and again, therapy is a very small world. So I was like, okay, cool. And one of the things that I was told that they pay based off experience. I'm like, okay, cool, that makes sense. And at this point, I think he's a therapist for like 17 years. I'm like, he has some experience. Wait a second. The only reason they hired me is so they can underpay me, and so they didn't have to pay this other therapist what he's worth. I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, that's the only reason y'all hired me. I didn't say that. I didn't tell them. I was like, the only reason they hired me is so they can underpay me. Because again, I'm making $3 an hour less as PRN in a more rural hospital. If y'all know anything about healthcare, you're supposed to get paid more as PRN and more in like a more rural area. So like, if I was full time, how much money would I be getting? $12 an hour? This makes no sense. I'm like, this is insane. So I was gaining experience. That's one thing I try to do is like any place I'm at, I'm trying to gain experience, try to learn as much as I can. And so I can try to bolster myself, or bolster my knowledge, bolster my resume, so on and so forth, all the fun stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep working here for a while. And I'm gonna keep my eyes open. I'm gonna start applying for other places. Because they're jipping me, they're cheating me out of my money. And I don't know about y'all, but your boy likes his money. So I'm like, I gotta work. I work hard for my money. I don't want to be cheated on my money. So started looking at other places. I applied a bunch of different places. Didn't get any interviews. I'm like, okay, cool. It happens, whatever. Working at a hospital. I was talking to my boss, and I was like, yeah, I want to move up eventually, like move up into management and things like that. And the thing that stinks is that in the acute care setting, a PTA is not allowed to work without a PT in the building. Because again, the PT is the one who does the evals. The PTA is the one who follows the plans. But if particularly in a smaller hospital, if the PTA is working and then something goes wrong with the patient and they need a new eval, PTA is not allowed to eval or re-eval. A PT has to re-eval. So with that being said, a PT a PTA is not allowed to work in no not allowed to work in a hospital without a PT working. So a PTA is not allowed to go into management either, because it's like, if I can't work without you being in here, how am I going to jump above you to be your boss? I'm like, that makes sense to me. Unfortunately, my pockets don't like it because when management goes like, I get it. Outpatient, you're a PTA is allowed to go into management. SNF, PTA is allowed to go into management, just not in acute care. I'm not sure about long term care or anything like that. But those, like, just those three, that's kind of pretty much how it works. Unless they change the rules, I don't know. It's been a little bit since I looked at the rules. But talking to my boss, and he's like, yeah, he's like, you know that you can't because you're a PTA, right? I'm like, I know. He's like, why don't you do this? Why don't you look? He's like, I'm in school, get my MBA. Why don't you look into the school? Da da da. I'm like, cool. Again, mind you, this happened all in 2020. So I ran the Disney Marathon. I started my MBA, and then the world shut down. I was like, man, me trying to get an education, me trying to run, shut the world down. That's not cool at all. So I was, still working as I can, still looking for opportunities. And then my now ex, she was like, "Hey, my friend's job is hiring. This sounds like something that you may be interested in, because you like sports, you like exercise, so this may be something that you're interested in." So okay, cool. Let me look into it, see what it's about. This was I've never, and this was for a health and wellness coach. I've never heard of that particular title. It's like, but the thing that stinks is that there's a lot of titles that get flipped around and misconstrued, and because there's no specific governing body. Well, there is, but there's no, like, because when you hear health and wellness coach, some people get a health and wellness coach with a health coach, with a life coach, with a personal trainer, with a fitness trainer. All these titles get mixed up and thrown into the same quandary, in the same quagmire, if you will, and they're not all the same thing. A health coach is not a personal trainer. A personal trainer is not a health coach. However, there is a lot of crossover. There are different governing bodies. So with personal training, again, I have my ACSM. There's ACSM. There's NASM. Was an IFP. I've heard of at least 4 different governing bodies that you can get certified through as a personal trainer, as a CPT. As a health and wellness coach, there's 2 that I know of. The one that my job goes with is the NBHWC, national is our national boards, NBHWC. So I was like, okay, yeah, let me go ahead and look into this. So I was looking into it. I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense. So I applied, got hired. I was like, cool. And then I was like, okay, this is what I can do, because I wanted to leave so I already left my rehab tech job, so I was down to 2 jobs. I was like, yeah, so I'm down to 2 jobs. So I was like, okay, I have my PRN job and my full-time job. I was trying to leave my PRN job anyway, so like maybe I can do this PRN and stay at the hospital full-time, because again, I knew the hospital, I want to stay at the hospital. So when I got the job, you're like, yeah, we're gonna pay you, a certain amount of money. I was like, y'all are paying me more. Y'all paying me, at least $3 an hour or more. You're like, okay, cool. I was like, okay, can I do this part time? They're like, no, you have to do it full time. I was like, crap. What am I gonna do? Because I really like the hospital, but this job is paying me $3 an hour more, and it's remote. So just base pay wise, I'm getting paid more, but less toil on my car, less gas. So that's another pay raise. Again, I'm remote. I don't need to wear scrubs, so I'm saving money on scrubs. That's technically another pay raise. I'm like, man, this is awesome. So I told my boss, I was like, hey, this is what's going on. I told my boss at this point I already resigned from the PRN job, and they're like, "No, we're sorry. We like, are you sure you want to go?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure." I'm like, no, I appreciate you guys for your help." I was like, "Y'all did teach me a lot, for better or worse. Y'all did teach me a lot, so I appreciate that." So I talked to my boss at my full-time job. I was like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. We already talked about me trying to move up, and I know I can't move up here, but this is an opportunity for me to technically move up. He's like, okay, I understand it, and I respect it. And I was like, this thing I told him, I was like, but if a PRN position ever opens up here, let me know. Because I appreciate all the things that you guys have done for me, all that you've taught me. I really enjoy working here. However, I cannot grow vertically here in rehab, as you already know. So he's like, okay, yeah, we'll definitely let you know if anything opens up PRN. Cool. So I went from having 3 jobs in late 2019. So yeah, I had in 2019 I left my first hospital in September 2019. I started working. I was working both other hospitals as of November 2020. No, 2019. Yeah, 2019, November 2019. I was working in the other 2 hospitals. And then I started working as a health and wellness coach in November 2020. I'm like, cool. All right, okay, cool. So, and then I left the other hospital November 2020. So I only had 1 job. I was like, this is cool. Okay, cool. Just 1 job now. 1 job making more than I was making. Technically, when I did the math right. With my 1 job, I was making probably like 80 cents more a paycheck than my other 2 jobs combined. I was like, not a huge jump, but that's a lot less stress. 80 hours, because I was working 6 on, 1 off. I was doing those 2 jobs, so it was about 90 hours a paycheck. Like, what's it? No, 100 hours a paycheck. 100 hours a paycheck. Um, I did I did 2 10-hour shifts at the other hospital. I did 4 10-hour shifts at my main hospital. So yeah, so 100 hours versus 80 hours. Now I'm making about 80 cents more, like take home like 80 cents more with the 1 job than I was at 2. I'm like, hey, I'll take it. Your boy would take it. Okay. So working, and this time I was not old, but I was older than I wanted to be to where I was at. And I was still living at home, so my bills were minuscule. I just I pay my parents rent. It was like $500 a month. I pay my parents. Still paying my car, paying my student loans and all that stuff. And then I was like, I'm ready to move out. Like mentally, emotionally, physically, I'm ready to move out because I was working in my room. So I was working in my room, sleeping in my room, TV in my room. The only time I was pretty much out of my room was to go to the bathroom and go to the gym. So I was in my room constantly. And I was just like, I need to quote unquote spread my wings. Um, you have another. I'll probably have like a part 4. I'll probably put this into my part 3 about the big decision I had to make, which actually set my debt payoff back a little bit. Probably put my part 3. So I was like, no, it's time to start looking for different things. So I was looking for houses. I was like, I want to buy a house. No, the whole thing. I was like, okay, not able to buy a house because my debt credit ratio was off, all that stuff. So okay, I'll go ahead and get an apartment. It's like, okay, got an apartment. I'm like, cool. Still working. You know, I was doing good. Your boy, got a raise. I was like, okay, yeah, your yearly raise. Your boy was happy. Your boy was hype. I'm like, okay, ball and whatnot. And then, not too long after this, is whenever the doctoral journey started. So I was like, yeah, I know. I'm in school, to get my doctorate. This is awesome. This is awesome. I was looking how much school costs. Look how much I made. I'm like, this ain't good. I can't do both. I'm like, this is a lot. So I was like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I was like, if my bills weren't so high, I can afford this more comfortably. So I'm like, okay. So I was looking online, like, easy side hustles, so on and so forth. I was looking for everything. I found this one that you can share your data get paid a couple cents. I was like, there's this one that you can like play video games. They'll pay you for that. But it was like minuscule amounts of money that they didn't really give you a whole lot. Um, what else did I do? Um, it was that one, that one. Those are the big ones. I was just looking up side hustles, looking up side hustles, and then got to a point that one of the last side hustles I found was donating plasma. And I was like, okay, so I started looking into that. And I know some people are like, you donate plasma, so and why is this in your jobs? I was donating plasma like it was my job. To be honest, it sounds very, very bad for your health, like when I say it that way, and it was a lot. It was, I was literally, I was looking up how people were doing and everything like that. I wasn't as intense as some people because there's a lot in some videos. These dudes, because they different plasma places get like different bonuses and things like that. And this dude was like, "Yeah, I'll donate plasma at this place for 6 months. And every 6 months that you don't donate, you're considered a new person. And whenever a new person comes in, they get bonuses." So this dude, I think, had like a rotation of 2 or 3 plasma centers, like plasma companies, and he'll donate at one place for 6 months, and he'll leave, and he'll go to another place, donate there for 6 months, leave, go to the next place, donate, like back and forth, back and forth. He had it down to a science. I'm like, this is insane. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and I downloaded like 3 different plasma donation apps. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, let me just go. So I started calling. So I was like, hey, do you need to make an appointment for this? Like, what do you need for this? Do you need to make an appointment for this? Put in this the last company I called. They're like, oh no, you need to make an appointment. Just come in. Bring this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I started donating plasma. In the first 8 donations, because they had like a big bonus thing going on. The first, I think they said if you donated 8 times in a month, then you're only able to donate twice a week. Twice a week, you have to have a day in between donations, and you have to have like 5 days between. So I'll tell you, like, so pretty much what I did is my schedule. I was working 4 10s. I worked Monday through Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I did 4 10s. I had Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off from my main job. So I donated. I drank a lot of water on Thursday, donated on Friday, drank a lot of water on Saturday, donated on Sunday. So my day between, and then 5 days, between that last donation and first donation of the week. And they were having some big bonus going on. It was like you donate like 8 times within like the first 31 days, something like that. You got a total of $1,200. I saw. I was like, yo, extra $1,200. I can use this. So I started donating plasma twice a week, every week, for over a year, without skipping a day. I forget how long. No, it was like, how long was I donating plasma? It was way over a year. It was probably like a year and a half or something like that. It was a lot, to the point that because all the bonuses, they're good, giving bonuses and things like that. No lie, I paid off one of my student loans with plasma. I legit think I made like $10,000 donating plasma twice a week, every week, for over a year. They knew me by name. Like, oh yeah, Michael's coming in. Like, they knew me. It's like I was looking at apartments with different people. Like, hey, oh yeah, I'm thinking I'm moving. Oh yeah, I'm looking right here. Like, I was on first name basis with these people. Like, they knew me. And like, oh yeah, we haven't seen you in a little bit, because it was like I would go at different times depending on what time I woke up and gym and everything like that. It's like, oh yeah, I was like, what? It's like I went so often that I knew when it was busy. I knew when the busy season was. I was like, okay, like on Sundays, like there's a church right here, so around this time it's gonna be busy. So I do this, I can do this. I had everything planned out. That's how often I went. I knew what their schedule was. It was bad, and I actually legit still have the scars on both of my arms from how often I was donating plasma. My veins never blew, thank goodness. But again, I donate plasma that much that I still have the scars on my arms. So it's like, I'm like, okay, like they're almost a badge to me. They're almost a badge of honor. It's like this was a different type of hard work that I had to do. That because I was so dedicated with this, I was able to pay off all of my debt. I am debt free, and donating plasma was one of the ways I became debt free. So I was donating plasma so much that I pretty much treated like a part time job. I was like, I can do this. I can still work. I still have a lot of free time. And again, it was because they have it like by if you weigh a certain amount, you get paid. Like you have like different weight classes, like boxing or anything like that. They had different weight classes. And I was on the top weight class. It's like to be in the top weight class, it was like it'd be like 180 pounds and above. So from 180 pounds to 500 pounds, you're in the top weight class. So I was like, okay, cool. And it typically it took on a busy day 3 hours. I was in there for like 3 hours on a busy day. If things weren't flowing right, the center was busy. 3 hours. The shortest I've ever been in there was probably 35 minutes. So, and I was usually getting about $60 a donation. So, your boy was raking in some money. Again, it's like I'm sitting for 35 minutes, I'm getting $60, or 3 hours, I'm getting $60. Your boy was raking in some money, and they can still go home, clean up the whole thing. So okay, cool. They started doing that, and of course, my mom was getting concerned. They're like, "Yo, you still donating?" Like, I'm still donating. It was like I'm still donating. Because there are times that if we had like a family event, I would legit donate before a family event. I'll go donate and then rush over to family event. Still had the wraps on my arms. They're like, "Boy, you gonna get hurt." They were concerned about me. I'm like, I'm good. So I was donating that much. So I was like, okay, I paid off one. I forgot what I paid off. I think I paid off. I paid off my car, and then I paid off my second student loan. I was working on my third student loan, and I was like, no, there has to be like a more efficient way to do this. It has to be a more efficient way to do this. Because granted, I'm getting paid very well donating plasma. However, it's not very efficient for the way I wanted to pay things off. And plus, being in school, I'm like, it's a bit different way. So I remember that I was like, oh yeah, I told them that if they need any PRN, I'll be happy to do PRN in the hospital. So I text my old boss's supervisor. So it goes manager, supervisor, director. So I text my old boss's supervisor, and I said, "Hey, it's Michael. No, I was here a couple years ago. I remember I was talking to Carlos, and I was like, hey, if there's any PRN positions open, if like just go ahead and let me know." And they're like, "Oh yeah, go ahead and reach out to Carlos." So I reached out to Carlos. So I was like, "Hey, this is Michael Hill." Da 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 da. Told him the same thing. He's like, "Okay, we'll make a position for you." I'm like, no, I text Carlos first. I text Carlos first. I was still talking to Carlos like pretty regularly. Like, hey, this is Michael Hill. No, I remember we said this is one thing that we said. Do you have any PRN positions? He's like, no, but we'll make one for you. I was like, oh, for real? So then like an hour later, I get a text message from my old boss's supervisor. Like, hey, Michael, glad to hear from you. Glad to hear from you guys. Hear from you. I want you to look up this resource number and go ahead and apply it and tell me when you apply for the position. I was like, okay, cool. So I applied for the position. I got back into the hospital. So going from donating plasma, working full time as a health and wellness coach, and full time student, to full time student, working as a health and wellness coach, and working as a physical therapy assistant in the hospital again. And I started working. I got hired officially in like October 2022, and because of different issues, hurricanes, couldn't get time off. I couldn't start working until December 2022. The thing that's rough about it is that because trying to figure out how things work is the PRN status is you have to work 4 days a month. Doesn't sound that bad, just in general. But again, I have another full-time job, and I'm in school. So it's like, okay, how can I do this? Like, what I'm going to skip out on something. And at this time, I was like, every other weekend, I was visiting my parents, and I was just kind of checking them out, saying hi, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, what can I do with this? I may have to skip the gym on a couple days. I was trying to figure out how I can, balance everything, balance my gym schedule, my work schedule, all this stuff. So the thing I decided to do was every other weekend, I would work. No, every other Saturday and Sunday I would work. Okay. And then so pretty much how things broke down is that the payday weekend I wouldn't work. The weekend opposite of payday weekend I would work. So like oh, time cards to do this week. Whenever time cards to do, those are the weekends I work. Whenever you got paid, I didn't work those weekends pretty much. So my schedule ended up being between the two jobs, 12 days on, 2 days off. And I've been 12 days on, 2 days off consistently since December 2022. Every now and then I have a day off, whether it's a family something or a class, but I've been 12 days on, 2 days off for 2 years. That's a lot of work. You're always tired. So okay, so I just kept working, and then I got a promotion at my main job, so to a health and wellness coach manager. So like sweet, that gave me another pay bump. So like cool. So I was looking at things, and I was like, because that gave me about a 10K pay bump. I was like, that's insane. From a health coach manager, like a 10K pay bump. I'm like, yo, this is dope. From full time rehab tech, from full time PTA to PRN PTA, that was a $5? No, $8 raise. So, in a span of, again, I left November 20. November 2020. I came back technically October 2022. So in that span, I gave myself an $8 pay raise at my PRN job and a 10K raise at my full time job. You know how long it would take me to get a pay raise that significant? Well, you know how long it would take me to get the pay from PTA to health coach, and then if it even possible to go from PTA salary to health and wellness coach salary, let alone both of them combined. It would just take me like 17, 18 years to get to where I'm at salary wise right now at the same hospital. I was like, this is I stopped. I thought, like, this is insane. I was talking to one of the other PTAs. He left not too long ago, and I was like, bro, this is where I'm at, because I'm not afraid to talk about money, because that is a big type of thing. Because like, no, you don't want share your salary and everything like that. I think it's more of a corporate thing, because they want people to know that, oh, why am I not getting this much, or why are you underpaying me, or this or that. That's my thought. But probably I'm not afraid to talk about money. And he was like, yeah, he's like, you know how long it'll take you to make that as a PTA? I was like, if I ever could. He's like, exactly. I'm like, it's insane. So you never know why things happen. With the power of hindsight, it's like, okay, I see you. Interesting. So like, that's crazy. So that's what happened with that. And then the funny thing is I was applying for different things. I applied for, while I was a health coach, I applied for like 4 or 5 different positions in my company. One of the positions I applied for, this is the funny thing, I applied for a sales position and I got it. However, they told me that I got it on a Friday. Remember, I don't work Fridays. They sent me an email on Friday, and then I was going to be out of town the next week or something like that. So I was like, okay, cool. So again, I didn't know. So, chilling and everything, and then I got back home, and I saw, it was like the next week I got back home. I was like, what's this email? It's like from HR. I was like, in the world. And then I got like 3 or 4 more emails. Like, yeah, we're waiting for your response. And because I waited so long, because I was in office, they rescinded their offer. And I was like, they're like, yeah, I was like, very unprofessional that you didn't reach out to us and this and this. I was like, I wasn't in my computer. I didn't know. I didn't work Fridays, and I had the whole next week off. I did not know. I was like, I was pretty high. I was kind of upset. And the funny thing is that this was in January. This is in January because I remember I was like, okay, I didn't get that position. I kept looking for things, looking for things, and then it was like April. They posted the coach team manager position, and I applied for that, and I got it. Interesting thing about the sales position is that because again it was right around merit increase, it was gonna be like I was making like $1,000, maybe $2,000 more than I was as a health coach, and I wouldn't be up for a merit increase until the following year. And I was like, wait a second, I won't be up for a merit increase until the following year, and it's like 1,000, maybe 2,000 more. I would probably get that bump on my merit increase. So I didn't get any. There's no benefit for me to to take this position. So it's actually a blessing in disguise. I was actually off. I was like, I literally would have been in the same financial position. Like this makes no sense. And then 4 months later, I get the position as a health coach manager, making 10K more than I was as a health coach. Sometimes things just don't make sense. Sometimes it's the only way things make sense is the power of hindsight. They're like, that's crazy, man. So again, if there's nothing that you understood from this, it's don't burn bridges, the power of hindsight, and keep your eyes open. I'll say those are probably the big key points from this. Power of hindsight, don't burn bridges. Yeah. Yeah, power of hindsight, don't burn bridges, and keep your eyes open. So, no, health and wellness coach, still doing that thing. Um, I was sometime last year. I was like, it's like I feel good. It's like, and I was look for my next steps. Post graduation, but I started early. And then when my coworkers, they're like, hey, I found these two jobs that are perfect for you. They have your name pretty much written on them. It's like, hey, let me look at them. Let me look at them. Mind you, at this time I was a manager for less than a year, so I was like, I'm still learning a lot. Even though I learned a lot in my almost now 2 years of being a manager, because in 3.5 months I'll be or actually in 3 months I'll be a manager for 2 years, and I've learned so much in these 2 years. It's not even funny. Like just the different things I've had to go through, the the putting people on performance improvement plans, written warnings, um, people going on maternity leave, people retiring, people quitting, helping out with interviews. Congratulations, we're giving you this position, or we regret to inform you that you're not getting this position. I've had to help out with different committees. I've got to help out with so many different things. It's been insane. I took my first two plane trips because being in management. We had a leadership offsite in Arizona. That was my first time on a plane. And then I went to help the sales team out in Louisiana last year. And they're like, Michael, I think like they legit, like the conference that we were at, it was like CEO, like C-suite level people. They went to the people that I was with, and they're like, hey, is Michael with you guys? They're like, yeah. Why? They're like, he's amazing. So I got to help out with different things like that, and just get to talk and rub shoulders with high level executives, and just I got to be I got to coach people that I never thought I'd be able to coach. I got to again rub shoulders with directors and executives of different positions, and still show my personality and not be all buttoned up. Granted, I had my work polo and everything on like that on. I was able to crack jokes with people. I was like, this is awesome. I was how I'm laughing here. That's how I was laughing with. I was like, hey, what are your goals? What's this and this? Like, oh, come on, you got. So I was sitting there joking around, but professional at the same time. I was like, this is really cool, and that's one reason why I like my job, is because there's so many different opportunities, vertically and horizontally, that I wouldn't have opportunities with at different places. So I was like, this is really really cool. So back to what my other coworker said. She's like, "Hey, I found these positions that are perfect for you," and one was a program director for a fitness facility. But I was like, I didn't have enough. I thought I didn't have enough experience, but it had stuff that was like, okay, I have this degree, I have this degree, I have this degree, I have this experience. Like, okay, cool, cool. I can see myself doing that. And the other one, which was so weird, cause I was like, because one of the things that people ask is like, well, what do you do with your degree? What can you do with your degree? And literally, the requirement for the job, it was a director level position, which is what I'm trying to look for. It was a director level position, looking for the exact degree that I have, the exact experience that I have, and the current job that I have. I was like, this is weird. The only thing that I didn't have is I felt like I didn't have enough management experience to go from a coach manager to a director at that point, and I didn't have one cert that they're looking for. But literally everything else had my name on it. I was like, this is insane. And I kind of regret not applying for them. Again, I didn't have enough confidence in myself to apply for them. I was like, man, this sucks, but this is crazy. This is really crazy. So, didn't apply for those, but still looking, still looking, still looking. And then talking to one of my classmates, like he has some really big goals. I think he wants to open a facility for something. He graduated last year, and this is one thing that's been like really like keeping my spirits up is just watching him graduate. So Sergey, I am proud of you, man. It was Sergey, Felicia, and Shamika. They all graduated at the same time. They were like three of the classmates I was closest to last year. Just watching them, I was like, yo, this is dope. Like this is gonna be me next year. This is gonna be me next year. So I was happy about that. And then no, he taught the capstone class for I don't know what school, but he taught the capstone class. And I was talking to him a little bit, and I was like, do I want to be a teacher? Do I want to teach? It'd be cool to be called Professor Hill. That'd be pretty cool. I may want to be an adjunct professor. I was like, I can maybe. So that's something that's just kind of bouncing around my head. While I was doing my internship, talking to my old boss, again, at that time he was my boss. He was a supervisor of rehab. Now he's the associate COO of the hospital. And talking to him, and he was like, the thing about therapists is that how we have to build relationships is perfect for this level that I'm at. So he feels like he's a good associate COO because of his healthcare, because of his rehab experience. So he's like, hey, maybe you want to be COO one day. So I was like, maybe. So I was like, COO as a stretch goal. I like it. CEO, I'm not sure. COO, maybe, because I'm up there. I can help make some very pertinent decisions. For people who are on the bottom, I can help, guide the ship. But I'm not the only person guiding the ship. Because people ask like, do I want to start a business? No, I don't want to start a business. That's not my thing. But I can help guide the ship to where it's supposed to be. So I'm like, I can see myself doing that. I can see myself being a COO one day. So that's where my brain's been at. Is that if after like I told myself that if something opens up at my current job before graduation, definitely gonna apply. I told my boss that I was like, hey, if something opens up, I'm definitely applying here because y'all have been so good to me and been helping me out with so much that I would be dumb not to try to stay here and try to just keep moving up. I'll be dumb. However, I have to look out for my pockets too. I look out for my future family too. So there's nothing that is opening up and I have to look externally. I have to do what I have to do. Do I want to? No. I'm a little old school and I like to kind of plant my feet places and kind of grow at that place. So I'm a little old school that way. But I'm like, I'll have to do what I have to do. But I like where I'm at. So I was like, Then something else I've been thinking of is like, hey, it's like if I can keep growing at my main job and then see how to become an adjunct professor. Because I don't think I want to be a full-time professor. But if I can teach a class here, a class there, and not have to write the syllabus, that'd be pretty cool. So one of the things I'm thinking of is, towards the end of graduation, I'm not sure how long I'm gonna be working at the hospital, because at this point, and as of June, I've been at bedside for 17 years. That's a long time to be working at bedside. 17 years. So one thing I told myself is that I'm going to look to figure out how to become an adjunct professor, like what the requirements are, how I can get in a position like that, so on and so forth. If I can get an adjunct professor position, that's going to pay me more than being a rehab tech, not rehab tech, a PTA, then I may leave the hospital by the end of the year. Well, leave bedside by the end of the year and become an adjunct professor, and then see what other opportunities arise for me full time. Growing, whether it's at my main job, whether something opens up at the part time job. But I'm thinking that's where my mind is going. Is I wanted to go into director level management, and eventually C-suite level management. I think would be pretty cool. And then if I still want to do a part time job, then become a part time adjunct professor. So yeah, that's my career journey. That's where I started. That's all the loops and everything like that, from the real jobs to the attempted side hustles to the side hustle that became pretty much a part time job, to where I'm at now, to where I'm thinking about going. So who knows? I may be Professor Hill, in a couple of months. But one thing I do know is that in about 5 months or less, your boy's gonna be Dr. Hill. One thing for sure, two things for certain. Your boy gonna be Dr. Hill very, very soon. So that's what I got for y'all tonight. Part 3 tomorrow. That's me on my fitness journey, and that's the parts of it that kind of can that that's a little deep. Nothing too crazy. Just remember, you just gotta remember if I can remember all my talking points. Because again, as I said, I don't write any of this down. I'm just going straight off the cuff. But there's some parts of my fitness journey that still affect me to this day. That started when I was in 5th grade, which kind of sucks. But yeah, that's all I got for y'all tonight. Catch y'all tomorrow. Later.